welcome back to another episode of Open Shutter, a creator-focused podcast where I speak with people that make stuff. So, have the pleasure of welcoming Ibad on back to the program. We were just chatting offline. I mentioned that I checked the date from the first podcast, and it was June of 2022. So it's been a minute since you've been on, man. So thanks again for coming back on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Paul, for having me.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to talk
yeah,
to you and to everybody who's watching this today, tonight. I know
yeah.
from I have no idea from where you guys are watching us from. So but I'm excited
Internet,
to be
man,
here and
everywhere.
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no, I just like from our first conversation, I was just blown away by your street photography, right? Just the way that you're able to like approach the shot and compose the shot. Like that's what really kind of sparked my interest. And just curious, I guess what you been up to for the past like year and a half or so.
Oh my God. I remember when we spoke last time, I was more of in a cocoon, I would say.
Mm,
Because it was I had traveled long distance, traveled away from home to
yeah.
make Canada a new home for myself. So there's a lot of discovery happening, and then
Mm,
COVID and whatnot. So I just thought that photography was not inspirational to me at all because I was more on a survival instinct, I would say. But
yeah.
now things are settled. 2 years, they've gone past like in a flash of in a blink of an eye, I would say, and things have really picked up for me. And yeah, street photography is still a passion, I would say. It's still
Yeah.
something that keeps me alive, but
It's
at the
good.
same time, I've been getting myself involved in some events, private events, local events, working
Okay.
a lot with also on fashion shoots.
Nice.
Not mainstream yet, but I feel that I'm in the right direction. I'm heading there, but
Yeah.
I'm working with aspiring models, new folks who want to get into the fashion industry. So yeah, really find there's a newfound interest, I would say. So I'm trying
That's
things
good.
out, change my gears, by the way. Yeah, that's
Oh, did
one
you
of the
get?
greatest news. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So I have a let me get this. Ah sorry. So I'm still a Canon person, so
Cool. Cannon's our
but
sponsor
it's
for today's show.
yeah. Okay. All
Right,
right,
man.
perfect. So and it's my first mirrorless camera, first full
Yep.
frame camera. So,
Yep.
I would say when it comes to photography, there's a lot of learning involved. I think, the learning never stops. So
No,
it's
it doesn't.
just there.
It just keeps going.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
keeps going like the internet. So you got your new gear, which is great. I guess just maybe backtrack for the people that maybe don't know who you are, maybe how you got into photography in the first place, maybe.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So basically, I got my okay. Let me go really back. So
Let's
my
go way
actually my
back.
photography my
Yeah,
photography
love it.
inspiration comes really from my father.
Yeah.
I remember one time I accidentally found a box of Yashica camera with all the gears. One of those film cameras, if you remember, back in the days in
Hmm.
early or late 1990s, right?
Hmm.
So got hand on those.
Hmm.
Well, I said, yeah, well, what is exactly this? So my father started to explain what camera really is, and then he got me one of those point and shoot film cameras or small cameras, and that's where
Hmm.
I actually started to find interest. Okay, I said, okay, this is something that I really enjoy. I enjoy, having uh,
Yeah.
viewing the world through that small viewfinder, because
Yeah.
that is all there was to a film camera in those days, right?
Sure.
And then
Sure.
came the digital camera. I still remember I had one of those Sony small handheld point and shoots.
Mm.
So this is where it started. So I always wanted to get myself a hands on the DSLRs, but
Yeah.
DSLR would have been a big commitment, and me being so young,
Yeah.
so not so familiar with actual the technicalities of the camera. I didn't actually buy it, but then I think early 2000, I actually
Yeah.
went to the market and bought myself a secondhand Canon. It was a 600D or 60D, something like that. It was a big one of the beginner series for Canon. And yeah,
Yeah.
and then 2 years, I had the camera with me, but I was so overwhelmed with the device. I was like, how do I use
Mm.
it? I was almost scared to actually touch it, because sometimes when something is new, you're like just keep staring at it. You're so overwhelmed, you don't know what to do. But then
Sure,
my
sure.
friends, he reached out. We got connected through Instagram. Instagram was fairly new. We got
Yeah,
connected and we said, okay, how about we get together, just go out there and take some shots. And then
yeah.
we weren't even sure how to communicate with people, with us holding a camera and they're being in front of the camera. We weren't sure, especially people,
Mm,
strangers on the streets.
mm.
But 2018 was the time when I actually got into street photography and I started enjoying it, and then there was never a look back. I never looked back
Yeah.
from there. Yeah.
It's a great story, right? I mean, I think it's a great story in terms of like just showing people you just gotta kind of keep going with it. In
Yeah, I
terms of
think
just, yeah,
exactly. You have to keep going, even if you make the mistakes. Always keep that in
yeah,
mind. I'll have always kept this in my mind. I'm not perfect. I'm learning.
yeah.
I will come up with new people, new situation, new lighting situations, new circumstances. And
Mm,
sometimes you might even land in a difficult situation.
yeah,
Especially, for example, if you shot somebody and they don't like it, or you're in a in
exactly.
a in a in a place where you are not allowed photography, but you don't know about it. So it's all part of the experience. You keep learning along the
Yeah,
way.
I like that term experience because that's exactly what it is. It is an experience, right? So it's a
Yeah.
good, it's a good way to phrase it, right?
Yes, absolutely. And one other thing that I find most inspiring about
Yeah,
different photographers that not even renowned photographers, but new budding photographers.
yeah,
All that we want to do is tell a story. I mean, at
sure.
the end of the day, be it street photography, be it fashion photography, all sorts of photography, I think
Yeah,
in some essence they're telling a story.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, think about food photography, for example, right? If you're hungry, and if you've probably experienced that, I don't know. Let me give you one example.
yeah,
If you know biryani, right, is
sure.
one
Yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah,
most
yeah. Love
famous
it, love it. So
rice
good,
tradition,
so
right?
good.
Traditional dish from South Asia.
Yeah.
So if you see a picture of it, suddenly it sparks those memories or good memories of
Mm,
when you had it, and you remember all those good times. So
yeah.
like that, all the pictures that we see on Instagram or elsewhere, they
Mm,
are telling us a story, and we are the ones who are telling ourselves the
yeah,
story. As a
yeah.
photographer, we're just putting a picture in front of us. It's a static image.
Right.
There's a soul behind it that the
Yeah.
photographer is trying to put, but the interpretation leaves is all left to the viewer.
Yeah, well, exactly so, right? Like I think we always want to tell stories. I guess like what stories like I mean, do you want to tell stories from certain people that you know? What kind of stories do you want to tell? Like are there certain goals that you want to hit or certain stories that you want to share?
Nothing in particular, to be
Yeah.
honest. But you know what? Actually, when I started my street photography, it was completely random, right? I didn't
Yeah.
have this mindset behind me. Um, but then, somebody I met, he was a renowned photographer. He traveled from the UK,
Mm,
and we got connected through Instagram again. So Instagram has been very vital to all the connections that I've made in
sure,
the past
sure.
in the industry. So
Cool.
even yourself, I would say, we
Yeah.
got connected
Huge.
through Instagram, right?
Exactly, exactly.
So he traveled to Pakistan. So Pakistan is a country where I come from. So
Mm,
he traveled there, and he told me, he said something to me that I still carry until today. He said, when you're photographing a place or a moment, I want to see the soul of that place. What
mm.
is the soul of your city? What is the soul of the country? And I was like, for a few moments, I was dumbfounded. I was like,
Yeah. What does that mean? What does
what
that
does that
mean?
even mean?
What does
Yeah,
that what do you mean by soul though?
but soul of
What
a
does that
city. I
mean?
mean, I've grown up in a city called Karachi. It's
Mm,
one of the major cities in the country, and I never thought, like, what exactly is the soul of my city? Like, what
yeah,
exactly is the soul of Brampton, for example? What
sure,
exactly is the
sure.
soul of Toronto?
Yeah.
And for everybody, it means a different thing.
Mm.
So really, there is no correct answer to that. It's like how you feel about the place. You know,
It's almost like your emotional connection to that place. It's an
exactly.
emotional
And
reaction.
exactly. And you know
Mm,
what? So the reason I think I fell short on photography for the first 2 years when I got to Canada was because I thought I don't even know this place. I was
Yeah.
sort of scared. I didn't even know like who the people are,
Mhm.
how people will react to me, how they're looking at you. So you sort of start to critique yourself too much,
Right.
as if you've made some sort of mistake or something. But it wasn't like that. But I wasn't able to feel connected to the city. But then when I started to go out again into the streets, I met people like yourself and
Yeah.
other people in the
Yeah.
country. Then I started to realize that no, it's not as bad as I was thinking. So that is what I would say start to manifest in my work. And so I try to find out what are those few things that I feel myself connected to, my soul
Mm.
being connected to, and that's where I started to work towards. So some of the pictures, if somebody
Mm.
wants to see, from they're from train stations.
Okay.
For
That's right here.
me, it yeah. So you have to really go down to get those.
Go way down there.
Yeah. So this is all Canada. This is all
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah. There's so the
Yeah.
soul. This is the soul of Toronto, guys.
There you go. There you
Right
go. So
here.
if you want to just, yeah, this one.
Yeah.
So for me, I
Yeah.
would say, I
Great
would
photo.
say this. Thank you so much. So for me, the soul of my city would be it's a place that welcomes everybody.
Mm.
It does not discriminate anybody in any way, right?
I've
And
heard that. I've heard that from Pakistan. It's the most
yeah.
friendliest country in the world.
So
I believe it. I believe it.
yeah, so why that happens is because it's one of, like I said, it is one of the major cities in the country. It's an economic hub, so people travel far and wide across the country to come to this city, try to find a livelihood here, and then bring their families along. So this
Right.
picture is like one of those moments I could sense when people who are coming from the rural sides,
Yeah.
they come to this city, and similar to my own experience here coming to Canada, don't
Mm.
know what to do,
Mm.
right? And they bring whatever they have, and they still sort of carry on with themselves their culture,
Yeah.
their traditions with them. So you see this lady in a full clothing,
Yeah.
that's black clothing, that's called an abaya.
Bye. Yeah.
So yeah, so they want to keep that. So it's, and the children, they're both excited, scared, though not sure what to do.
Mm.
And right in the this was like 6 a.m. in the morning when the train came in.
Yeah.
And you can see these the train, sort of the windows behind them, they're sort of open, so it
Yeah.
means it's an economy class,
Right.
so they aren't very affluent.
Mm-hmm.
They're simple people, travel simple, travel lights, all those sort of things. And you can sense that family connection too. The father is missing. That means that he's probably invited his family. He's been in the city for some time,
Mm.
invited his family. So, these things are very common in the country. You find a lot of
Yeah.
people who have not actually born in the city, born born elsewhere, but they come to this city to find their livelihood.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this photo almost has like a sense of hope too. Like there's a certain sort of like hope for like the future. Kind of
Yeah,
like a new a new beginning or something.
that's true.
You
And
know what
there's
I mean?
another one I would want if you could
Yeah. Yeah.
show that. I don't know if it's before. It shows. Yeah, it should be close, I
Love this
think.
photo, by the way.
Yeah. So this is a okay. The word we use for people. So he's an employee with. It's a private employee. He's called a
Yeah.
coolie.
Yeah.
Maybe your Indian people coming from India might know what the word means. So coolie is, so say these guys, they will pick up your luggage,
Okay.
4 or 5 bags on top of their shoulders, and
Mhm.
walk you and the entire family to the train. And all that they wear is a simple clothing. So the
Mm.
brown clothing is the shalwar kameez, which is traditional clothing for people in Pakistan. So that's what they usually wear. and then they will put on this red vest,
Okay.
and only the coolies, they will wear this red vest on, and with this scarf,
Okay.
and that's what they will wear, and you can spot them from a distance. Okay, this is somebody who can help me with my luggage, and
Okay.
they're very welcoming people. And you can sense their how the
Yeah.
simplicity, the smile,
Genuine.
everything.
Genuine.
It's very
Yeah.
genuine.
Oh, it's a great photo. I love it. I love it. Anyway, you're looking for another photo.
Yeah, I think it should be. Maybe I have to scroll up. I'm sorry, I forgot where there's our. Yeah, this one, the one in the middle, the one with the boys. Yeah,
Ah.
this one. Yeah.
Mm,
So this was
yeah.
shot in the. Okay, so Karachi is a coastal city.
Mhm.
Again, another soul of the city. It's a coastal
Yeah.
city, and it's one of the major coastal cities in the country, and one of the most developed ones.
Mm,
But when we talk about development, we only think of, high rises and uh, uh, very well developed infrastructure and
sure.
whatnot.
Yeah.
But really, what we forget are these marginalized communities, right?
Mm,
They are such an essential part of the community. And, well, some people might hate me to say this, but when we talk about development and
mhm.
we talk about huge, big infrastructure, urban development, we sort of forget, what's in stake for these guys, right? For
Mhm.
these marginalized communities.
Mhm.
I would say for any city, the soul are the people who like these boys, right? The
Yeah.
future of the city. These are the people who make the city uh keep it original, keep it
Mm,
as it is, without
mm,
losing what it really was, and
right.
where it's heading towards. So this is what I felt. So we went into a fishing village. You can see the boats behind the boys, right? Some of them
Mhm.
have those uh, old style motors attached to them that drives the
Mhm.
boats.
Mhm.
But these guys, they're holding what is so they have a fishing
Yeah.
line,
Yeah.
and it's wrapped around just a block of wood. It's not
Right.
even a fishing rod. So
Right.
for a lot of people, this might come as a surprise that, okay, fishing line on this,
Yeah.
but that is what it is. And you can see they're wearing shalwar kameez again, which is traditional to these people, and you can see how disheveled his hair is. So they don't mind all the looks, because at the end of the day, for them, fishing for the boys,
Yeah.
it's just what they know, and that's where they
Yeah.
find their most interest. So
Yeah. Again, this is part of the soul, right?
part of the soul, indeed.
Mm, I like that. It's good. I think that's a good way to approach shots. Kind of like give yourself what does this place mean to me, and then kind of go from there in terms of like trying to figure out like what you want to actually shoot.
Yeah, yeah, so
Yeah,
true.
it's a good way to do it. I like it.
Thank you. And if we could go up,
Yeah.
so when I was talking about, because we spoke about telling the story,
Yeah.
I also mentioned that as a photographer, we put our mind or into the picture. And if you go scroll a little bit up, yeah. So right, so just stop here. So you
Hmm.
see these photos at the last line, the one next to each other. So there are two monochrome, and there's one person, and there's one on the right side with the person picturing
Yeah.
the sunset.
Yeah.
This was the time. So this was my last sunset in Pakistan.
Oh,
Yeah. So just two, four,
this
four.
one
Yeah,
here.
yeah, this one. So this was my last sunset. This is not me, by the way, because I'm the one who's photographing it, and this is
Ah,
one of my friends who was actually trying to capture the sunset.
got it.
But the reason it was important for me was this was my last sunset in Pakistan before I would travel to Canada.
Oh,
And the successive pictures that the successive pictures are sort of telling that story. So if you
yeah.
go to the next one,
Mhm.
no, the other way.
Oh.
Yeah, this one. So you see these birds.
Mm,
So now you can tell this is Canada, because you can
mhm,
recognize those
mhm.
the goose and the trees, the coniferous trees. I took the flight, you know, I left my
Oh,
city, so I'm
yeah,
here.
yeah. With the, I got it. That's good. With the birds, yeah, no, it's good. You took the lead. You took the flight.
Yes. So if I,
Yeah,
my caption also sort of tells my story, the flight to or the flight from,
yeah.
it's
Interesting. Interesting.
one of those times when you're not sure, what's going to happen. Am I going towards something or am I running away
Mm,
from something?
mm,
That sort of a feeling. So it's like that. So I felt myself as a migratory bird, you
yeah,
know, you don't know where your instincts are leading you head on,
sure,
and you're not sure what futures holds for you.
sure, sure. Well, now that it's basically three years later, how does it feel? Like
I feel much settled.
you
Yeah,
feel like you feel like you made like the right decision?
I, I I will. You know what? I always think where you are
Yeah,
is the best place, best moment you could live in.
yeah.
I mean, I if I start to wish I was somewhere else, then my life would never feel settled. So it's important as any human being, we should
Mm,
appreciate the moments we are in, even if it's a hard time you're going through. Just stop and remember the good times, and your hard
yeah.
times become easier. Because you know what, everybody who faces a certain difficult situation, he or she is given the capability, ability, and the power to change, to make that change and work for the better,
Mm,
right? But
yeah,
but only there should be will, and that you should be patient, and then remember all the good times.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, it's well said. I mean, I guess if it was easy, like everyone would be doing it. So, obviously, I feel like everyone's different. So, it's up to the
Yeah,
person to. I always say, like, what is it that you want?
exactly,
Which may be like the hardest question you'll ever answer, because like, what is it that you
exactly,
want? You may know, or you may not know, or you may know, but you're too scared to like do it, or whatever the case is, right? So,
exactly,
once you actually know what you want and kind of have like a roadmap to get there, then I think things get a little bit easier.
absolutely,
But when you're
absolutely,
kind of on the fence with everything, I think that's where all the anxiety comes from. Is like
exactly.
you're not sure, should I go? Should I go? Like, you kind of overthink things, overanalyze things,
Hmm.
and it becomes more than it should be, kind of thing.
Absolutely. When
Hmm.
you were speaking about this, just remember one of the times I went
Yeah,
snorkeling for the first
yeah,
time.
yeah,
It was in the one of the deep seas. So they had given us a life jacket and a snorkel to put on, and then they asked us to jump in the sea.
yeah.
And what they've done is they attached a rope across from their boat till the island. So we had to do was, what they suggested is, if you know how to swim, just go wherever you want. But if you don't, just follow the rope
Yeah.
and look down so that you could appreciate the beauty under the surface of water.
Hmm.
I remember when I stepped into the water, I was
Yeah.
holding on to the rope. My
Yeah.
f- my my legs and my feet were attached to the side of the boat because I wasn't ready to let go. I
Hmm.
was so scared.
What a metaphor. What a metaphor that is.
And then you know what? I was wearing everything, all the safety gears, but still I was so scared. I was like, what if I drown? What if this happens? What if that happens? All the negative thoughts start to come in.
Sure. Sure.
And then exactly what you said. I said, let's just take a leap of faith. What is the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah.
I'm
What's
gonna
the word?
I'm gonna probably find myself away from the rope, but of course, at the same time, I know there is help available. Number one, I was wearing the life jacket. Number two, I had a snorkel. Plus, the people on the boat, they were expert drivers, so they had already given us what the
Yeah.
instructions. And the moment I let go, this is important. The
Yeah.
first moment I let go, I pushed myself away from the boat. I actually went inside
Hmm.
the surface of the water. For those moments, I had to. Now imagine that you had to stop yourself breathing,
Hmm.
and you don't even have to try because the snorkel automatically closes to
Mm.
prevent any water to come in.
Yeah.
So you stop breathing. Suddenly, the noise around you is silenced because your
Mm.
ears are covered with the pressure of the water, so you
Yeah.
can't hear anything except for the bubbling on your sides. But in the very next and you hold your breath. So and you can imagine the beat of my heart. I mean,
Yeah.
it was rushing.
Crazy.
And then in the next few moments, because I was wearing the jacket, I I was automatically pushed up. right? And
Oh, yeah,
my head was out the surface of water. I was
yeah,
able to
yeah.
breathe, and then it was pure enjoyment. It was so beautiful inside the sea. So for me
Mm,
to reach to that, to that beauty, to be able to appreciate that beauty, I had to take that first leap of faith. So I think with life, if you're going through a struggle, if you're going through that time, just take a leap of faith. Have a faith in yourself, have a faith in your abilities, and
yeah.
yeah, you'll get through it.
Yeah, exactly. I also like, yeah, exactly. Like, kind of like you said, what's the worst thing that can happen? Like, really.
Exactly. Exactly.
Are you planning to go back to Pakistan to see family or anything, or to?
So I'm not going back anytime soon. I actually
Mm,
went there last February.
mm.
Oh, and I got a picture from there as well. So if you just
Okay,
scroll
yeah,
up, I can
yeah,
actually show that one. It's really up, so we might have to. No, go down, go down. Yeah, this one. The Go up, go up. Yeah, the old lady.
yeah. Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. All
That's
right,
cool.
this is something that a lot of people but find interesting. So yeah, I went back in February last year. So I'm not planning to go there anytime soon. But
Hmm, hmm.
I actually invited my parents to join me, so they're
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So interestingly, at the time when I went there, FIFA 2023, was it 2022? No, 2022. Was it 2022 or 2023?
It was not.
2022. Sorry,
Yeah, it's
2022.
2022. Yeah,
Yeah,
2022.
2022 was
Yeah,
active.
yeah.
And so I had a friend who traveled from the US around at the same time. So we
Mm,
decided to get together. And now that we are, American buddies,
yeah.
we just thought. So for the first time in my experience, I viewed my country as a tourist spot. So
Mm,
imagine that.
nice.
I felt what would I see differently that I had not seen before. So we decided to go
Yeah.
to a very small community. So this place is very politically, or was politically active. So there were
Right.
two, or there were rivalry parties that would not engage with each other except for a brawl, or
Mm,
so some leaders, some people decided to come together and identify what are the good qualities in the community. And one of the good qualities that they found within this community was that they were very sporty. You'd be
ah,
surprised
yeah.
that our first international league for football, I think, for ages for the teams,
Mhm.
actually went out from one of the from the community itself. And they're not people who are very well educated. They're not people who are very well who have money. No, they play in rundown sneakers or
Right.
sports shoes. Their coaches, they don't even know English language. They speak their
Mm,
local language that even
mm.
I did not understand. So we had to. By the way, we had to have a translator.
Oh,
What?
you did, eh?
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
did.
yeah.
You did,
We
eh?
had a translator, and
Yeah.
so we did not. So we went there. We were walking in their neighborhood, and we were actually surprised that people were so excited about FIFA that they had drawn these
Yeah.
the flags by their own hands.
Hmm.
And you could see the FIFA Cup in the middle as well. So this is all hand drawn because, like I said,
Amazing.
no, not a lot of people know about this community. For
Mm,
the second thing about what I like about pictures is if I could draw some sort of a contrast in the
mm.
image itself. So
Yeah, yeah,
when we think about FIFA, or we think about activity, players, young
yeah.
blood, sweat, all these things. But what we don't think about are the elderlies, right? so
True. Yeah,
so
no.
in this frame, you can see an old
Yeah,
lady
yeah,
walking past the wall.
yeah, yeah. So, like, did you wait for someone to walk through the frame, or did she just come when you were there?
Well, so the good thing was we went in the morning, so it was not a lot of public or people around there.
Yeah.
But because it was morning, usually you'll find these morning folks, especially the elderlies, going about their business. So
Mm.
yes, we saw she was coming, and we sort of made an assumption that she might walk past the wall,
Yeah.
and then we actually stood a little far from the wall, and I really had to zoom in so that I could just focus on this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And then she just walked past,
Yeah.
walked
I mean,
past
well,
the
great
photo.
timing though, eh?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Like
all
the
about the
timing
timing
is
with street
perfect.
photography. Yeah,
And I love how like the lower third of the wall there, it's kind of it's kind of grayed out a little bit. Like it almost has like a vintage look to it, just by the way like the bottom third is, it's all kind of dirtied out, you know. You see like
yeah,
all the grayed out stuff. It's
yeah,
interesting. It's like a, yeah, I think there's a lot of layers to this photo. I think like the more that I look at it, could be like a lot of layers to this one.
yeah. So that's why I love street photography, right? It's just it's just freedom for me. It's just like I can spread my wings and just
Yeah,
be out there.
yeah, and you can make something cool that hasn't been done before.
Yeah, yeah.
Because who else would have this photo unless someone's there also waiting for this little lady to walk through the frame?
That's so
Who
true.
knows? Maybe you could start a trend, and people in this town are just gonna like line up and wait for the lady to walk through. Yeah, I gotta
Absolutely.
get this photo.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, now that
And
the next World Cup's gonna be here, so yeah, yeah,
so true.
yeah.
So yeah, so and you know what? I actually put that in the comments too, in the captions. I wasn't even carrying my own camera. I had to borrow my
Yeah,
friend's camera for this, and he was so gracious enough to give me his camera, lend me
man,
his camera for the
lifesaver,
shoot. Yeah,
lifesaver,
lifesaver. And I'm
lifesaver.
so glad
You
I
wouldn't you wouldn't be able to live with yourself if you didn't take this photo. Like you'd be
absolutely.
like, no way. Yeah, that's great, man. It's, I mean, the timing, perfect, perfect.
And you know what? When I was talking about pictures telling a story, this is what it means, right? We look at this picture and suddenly I'm drawn to that old that the fine February morning of 2022.
Yeah,
This is what
exactly.
this is what it does, right? And it's not just that I, because I created that photo, is is sparking the memories that I had. But if somebody else was also looking at a similar photo without even knowing about what this place is, without even
Mm,
knowing the lady, without even knowing what's happening,
mm,
if they have the sensibility and the sensitivity of looking at a photo or looking at anything on they see on screen and getting those sparks of memories,
yeah,
it's that means the photo is doing its job.
yeah, for sure. What do you think is the most important part of taking a photo? What do you think is the most important for you? If you had to pick something,
Oh my god, such a difficult
if you
question.
had to pick lighting or the subject or like the location,
It okay, I would say
you
I
gotta
would
pick. If you
say
had to pick one, you have to pick one.
I would say in every so there do I would divide this into two.
Yeah,
For pictures that I take, that I do for myself. So for example, street photography is for myself, it's for my own soul, it's feeding
sure,
my own soul, right?
has to be.
So
Hundred
yeah, so
percent.
it's for me, I would say that the timing and the ability for it to grab me for a moment and make me stop and think of a good time, that's important.
Okay,
Because for in a street photography, you don't own the light,
you
you
don't.
don't own the look, you don't own the moment, you just capture that moment and make it yours,
Mm,
right? So for me, that's important, that if I'm able to be at some place at the right time, right moment, that's the best. Then I can pat myself on the back and say, hey, I've done, this makes me very happy and it fills my soul. I feel excited about it. So
I
that's
think that's most important. I think that's the most important thing is
exactly.
if if your soul is full, if you feel proud of it. I think
Yeah.
that's the most important thing.
Exactly. And the
Yeah,
reason I'm saying this is because
yeah,
maybe a lot of your viewers who are watching your show,
yeah,
they might not have the best of cameras. I didn't have the best camera in the beginning, and
sure.
even today, I don't think my camera is very expensive. But really, you don't have to have a very expensive camera. You don't even have to know the techniques in the beginning, because when you're learning, when you're doing things is when you start to feel, okay, now something is working out. But at the end of the day, the techniques will change. Your device, for example, even this device will
Yeah.
go out of fashion and something else might come up.
Sure.
So that you can't really rely on these things. At the end of the day, it is what makes you happy. It is what makes you, fulfills your soul, in our words. So
Mm.
that's important. So that's number one. Number two,
Love it.
if I'm doing photography for someone else,
For someone else.
what for someone else, for example,
Yeah.
I'm doing a model shoot. So a
Okay.
model shoot is of course it's set up. It's set up in the sense that you have to think of, so you decide the moment. So you, for example, you make the model sit in a certain way. You have
Mm.
relatively more control over the light. You have relatively more control over your techniques. You could redo shots, right? In street photography you can't do that. But if you're doing it for someone else,
Yeah.
for me the most important thing is when I show them the work and they say, this is absolutely fabulous, I love it,
Mm.
you know
Mm.
uh, so it fills my heart, because if they are happy, I'm
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
I can if I'm redoing a certain shot, which means at that point I'm not happy with the way I've taken a certain shot, which means
Yeah.
I want to do it all again.
Yeah.
It could be because the subject is more under the shadows,
Yeah.
or he or she is not sitting in the right pose that I wanted them to sit. So I make those adjustments, I redo the shot, which means that
Mm.
I have perfected my technique. The real test is, well, I've done my job. Now I show the picture to them, and they love it. They appreciate it. It's the best way. But there's another lesson that I've learned over time. Never be shy to
Mm.
learn, to make mistakes,
Mm.
to listen to constructive feedback. If somebody says, I don't like it, ask them why. What is the reason behind
Yeah,
it?
exactly. You gotta give context, right?
Absolutely,
You need the
absolutely.
context.
If you're not ready to take criticism, then you're probably stopped. Then you've probably, oh no, not even probably, you've definitely stopped learning. Never
Yeah.
stop the learning
Yeah,
process.
especially if you're doing it for someone else.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
because once it gets to that point, like for example, like if you took a photo of someone, a model, and you didn't like the photo, but that person did, what would you
Hmm.
do? Because you knew it wasn't a good photo, but that person liked it. Would you say,
Hmm.
"Well, let's try a few more"? Like how would you combat that? Because sometimes the people, sometimes the people that we're shooting don't really know what they want.
Absolutely.
They're just seeing the result, but they don't really understand how things can be better, right?
Absolutely.
You know?
You are absolutely correct. Because you then because now you're a photographer, and they are if they're not their clients, maybe you're doing a collaboration. You're not selling the
Sure,
photo to them. You're just doing
sure.
collaboration. They might not be as hard as as somebody who's paying you.
Yeah,
So in that sense, yes, you at that moment, even if it's a free collaboration with somebody who's called a TFP or
yeah,
TPF, whatever,
yeah.
then that is a moment for you to learn, okay, this
Sure.
person loves the shot, but I know that I can
But
make it
you
better
know,
for them.
yeah, but they don't.
Yeah,
They're like, oh, we
yeah.
love it.
So yeah,
But
so I hmm,
you know,
sorry.
no, just gonna say once you start like my point is that like once you get into like shooting for other people, like it's not really yours anymore. It becomes theirs. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's their stuff. Like it's what they want. It's so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
sometimes you got like sometimes people have to be careful with regards to kind of making that switch to monetizing whatever it is that you like to do, because once you monetize it, then you're kind of at the wills of the client, right? So,
Yes.
you know,
Yes. Yeah. Yes. You've spoken the right thing, because once they pay you, then
you're
well
theirs.
then
Yeah,
there's there that you have to
yeah,
listen to them. You have to,
you-
if they like it, well, you have to like it too.
yeah. And then I mean, I'm not. I mean, just like the danger of that is you're not going to like the work,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. You
then
won't be satisfied with it.
from there things could spiral. So you just got to be careful with regards to how you approach the other side of the business. And again,
Exactly.
that comes down with like how to deal with clients, how to communicate, and that takes practice. But I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think some people just feel like, oh, I'll just start doing some like photo shoots, rent a studio, and it's all fun. But there's also like the other side of,
Mm.
I hate the photos, I love the photos, blah blah blah, and I don't know. It becomes different. Like it's not like, my point is like, it's not yours anymore.
Exactly.
The fact
No.
that you started because it was for you, and now you're doing it for someone else, which is
Mm-hmm.
fine. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. You know, like I've been speaking to all the good stuff, but reality check for photographers or future photographers, and it's a lesson learned for me as well. I went to an event. It was some times ago. I went to an event. I did some shots for them. Well,
no,
they didn't like some of them, and I was like,
yes,
oh man.
yeah,
But
yeah,
they sent me a feedback, and my natural response was, oh, first response, like, no, what,
yep,
and that's what social media does to you, because at this
yep,
people, a lot of they have a weird gender tendency to just keep liking things, and there's no unlike button, and people will shy away from giving some honest feedback, and because they might be afraid, he's a friend of mine, I just want to support him. Well, yeah, well, life is not fair. Sometimes you're gonna make a mess, and that
yeah,
is perfectly fine. But
yeah,
I reached out to the client and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that you didn't like some of the photos, but how can I do better? How can I improve myself? Those are the moments
yeah,
where you can actually build the client, build the clientele. Because what you don't want to work with that client once in your lifetime. You want
no,
to have you want
for
to
life.
work
You
with
want to have
that.
the client for life,
Exactly.
basically.
So you should understand, you're for them, you become important. You have to be a respectful person, so you have to respect the
Yeah,
fact that they recognize your work. That's why they reached out to you for the first time. So you have to make sure that you try your best to
yeah,
give them the best, right? But if it didn't work out, well, it's not a problem. They also are the client also sometimes understand that, okay, the moment is gone, we can't recreate any photos.
hmm, hmm,
But because you want to repeat a business with them, you become that person where they can share their they can share their feedback,
yeah,
and the next time you keep that in mind. Okay, this is something that was important to them. I make sure that I do this, I do that.
yeah.
That's how you learn, right?
Yeah, I think like, to me, like the clients that will, I think it's not good to have every client to have like a yes client where they just said yes, love it, because you're not getting any real feedback on like the actual work. It's good
Yeah,
to get actual feedback from people and just see what they want, because sometimes clients are shy. Like they may not even know how to voice their concerns on that. They'll just say, "Great, thanks, love the work," and they move on. And then you just never hear from them, and then you
mhm.
wonder why they're not calling you back, because they were too shy to say what's
Exactly,
up. So you're better
exactly.
off with a client say, "Hey, man, love the work, but we need to fix whatever." It's better for you in the long run, not you, but like people in general, in
Yep,
the long run, to like actually get people saying, "Hey, love this, but don't like this, but don't love this." And then you actually know, because it's so hard to get real feedback sometimes from people, because
exactly.
you can ask your friends and family, but they're just gonna say love it, love it. You're not gonna get anything out of it. But
Yes,
the people that
absolutely.
actually tell you, hey, look, these photos, don't love them because of XYZ, there's a lot of valuable feedback there, because who else is gonna tell you that?
No, that's
Who else is
true.
gonna tell you that? No one.
That's true. I read one. There was a post by somebody on Facebook, and he posted his pictures, and it was an open forum, and his comment was, this is what I did. He wrote about his techniques and process of taking the photos, and at the last line he said, "Destroy me with your feedback." I just love that. He
Destroy
said,
me. Yeah,
"Destroy me with your
yeah.
feedback,"
Geez,
which
now we're
he
getting
was so
aggressive. I
willing
love
to
it.
learn, that he said, it's my first
Hey,
stab at it. I really want to learn.
yeah,
I want to see what's the
yeah,
best. And that post was actually going out to and it was read by a lot of big photographer, like wedding shoot
yeah,
dude, like on like corporate events and
Yeah.
weddings and whatnot. And everybody who was commenting on his post, and he had like lots of comments, I
Yeah.
mean, maybe 200 comments, I don't even
Sure.
remember.
Sure.
And everybody on the first line was, "What the fact that we love about you is not about the photo, is your attitude. You want to learn,
Yeah.
and well, we are here to share some feedback with you." Well, and then they started to talk about the content. So your
Mhm.
contents can change, right? You learn with time.
Yeah.
You learn new tools, you learn new
Yeah.
techniques, and you try to figure out what your style is.
Yeah.
And you can't do that if only you have people around you who are saying, well,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. You
look
don't
at
want
your
that.
best.
You don't want that. You don't want to have yes clients all the time
Exactly.
because you have no idea. You have no idea where you stand, right? So I
Exactly.
think it's important for people that are listening and watching just to have that kind of mentality of depends how far you want to go with it. But if you want to go far with it, then I think you really need to have an open mind and kind of like put your ego at the door
Hmm.
because we all have egos and just park it and just say, hey, look, tell me like straight up, and then
Yeah.
and then you're gonna learn and then you're gonna improve and then you're just that's how the top people in today's world that's how they got there because they got that feedback they got that like that free schooling where
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
so
So that's what I've those are the few things that I've sort of kept near to my heart. So it's perfectly fine if somebody, you know what, I was watching this film. I'm forgetting the name of the film. You might be able to
yeah
tell about it. It's about a
yeah
drummer, and it's a real story. It was
yeah
about a drummer who really wanted to know how to drum,
yeah
and he got into an American music school, but the
okay
teacher was very hard on the person, and he almost broke the student. But his message was, if my way of teaching you is causing you to lose the will to learn, then you're not in the right place.
yeah
You're
yeah
not in the right place. If you
yeah
want to learn, you have to bleed, you have to play rough,
yeah
you have to let some people tell you what's wrong, because he was learning from the best teacher, who the
mm.
best drummer in his time. So who's the best person to tell you some, but the one who's actually good at his art, right?
yeah
And his intent was good. He was actually trying to teach his student, not that he
yeah
was deliberately trying to put him down. No, you have to really break your ego if you want
you
to learn
do
something.
have to park the ego
Yeah, you have to
you
cut
have
through
to
it.
otherwise it's not going to go well
Exactly.
um
So, and then the next step is when you let it out of your ego, and then you let the learning come in, and it does come in. I tell you, in the short run, one I'll tell you, like, if you go back, maybe if you just scroll down a
yeah
little bit, there's one photo with TTC rail. Yeah, the one
oh
in the middle. Yeah. This one,
this one
the
here
blue one. Yeah, the blue one. Yeah. This is the new year.
mm.
Um, I remember I was very scared of taking night shots. I wasn't
Okay,
sure
how
like
come
how to do it. Everything that we're scared of. One of the most scary thing for all photographers is noise in the photos. Remember?
oh noise got it yeah
And then it was I and then I didn't even have the right sort of equipment. So every time took a night shot, everybody be like, "Yeah, it's a good shot. It's a good shot." Until I met somebody who told me, actually, you know what, your night shots suck. So
yeah
if you really want to
right
do it, you have
yeah
to learn how to do it, because there's a
okay
different way of handling night shots or dark shots or low light shots
sure
compared to daylight shot. Because I was, like I said, like when I started street photography, it was mostly in the morning, so I had ample light, so there was no problem for me to raise up
yeah
the ISOs or play
yeah
around with other things. But when I started to do that learning, then I realized, okay, this is what we need to do. So I'm not saying this is the best shot, but I want, from my own perspective, it's a big improvement from where I was, And so I sort of appreciate, I sort of celebrate that shot. And I feel this was a really well to do shot. I know there could be a lot of improvements, but
No, I
again,
like it.
you have to open your heart to, and you have to keep your mind open and have that attitude to learn, and that's how it gets better.
So you're planning to do more night photography this year?
Oh, I actually did. I don't remember actually putting things on
I like this
my.
photo, bro.
Yeah,
I like
this is all night shot. This
I like
was New
that.
Year's,
That's cool.
and I'm trying to see if I could find one night shot that I did on one of the foggy, misty nights in Brampton.
Brand.
But I didn't think I created a post, but it was rather a story.
Okay.
Yeah, it might take some time to come up, but anyways, oh no, it's coming up. Something is coming up. Okay, let me see if
Okay.
I can. Is there a way for me to share my screen for a minute?
Yeah, you can. There's a at the bottom. There's a present icon.
Oh yeah. Okay. And then share screen.
Yeah.
So share screen.
And then I can put it up.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Can you see this? Oh,
Yeah.
I have to stop moving.
You should see. You should. It's up now.
It's up. Okay.
You see
Can
it?
you see those two?
You see it now?
Yes. So this is again a night shot. This is 12 a.m.
Okay, midnight. Okay.
Yeah, and this is in the park. One of those foggy nights.
Yeah, it's creepy. Man. It's creepy.
But you know what it is? Can you guess? Take a guess.
Where?
What is this?
What is it?
Yeah.
I want to say you're in like a. I think. Well, you're in a playground, no?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It looks like you're like, I don't know, somewhere else though.
So I don't know if I probably watched too many horror films.
Oh yeah, this is like this is like Silent Hill 3, man. That's Silent Hill 3 right here. 100%.
So this is you're absolutely correct. So this is Chinguzi Park in Brampton.
Confusing, yeah.
Yeah, and this is a zip line. It was a foggy morning. It was completely dark, but there is one light that was coming from behind. So I had to put my camera on a tripod and take this shot. So to minimize all sort of, not all, but to minimize the noise levels.
Yep.
And to keep it as steady as possible. So this is a night shot. So it's all learning, making mistakes.
No, it's good. I like it. It's very creative.
Yeah, all of this. Let me see. Yeah, this one again.
Crazy Silent Hill, man. I'm telling you.
And by the way, these aren't ravens or crows. These are just
Leaves.
Leaves.
Could be ravens, though. You never know.
Never know.
Yeah. So you like doing night photography? Like you enjoy it?
It's definitely an interest. So I haven't explored it too much, but I think this is perfect. I mean, again, for you, one needs to understand the techniques, and I think I was able to pull it off. I was scared too because I was on the street all by myself in a cold December night, very foggy, and always have this back of the mind when somebody comes up and chips away my camera or say something. What the hell are you doing here? But nothing of that sort. How it happened. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's a different genre altogether. The light. What do you call it? The light trails.
Yeah.
The light shows. All of this it's interesting. I didn't try it again, but yeah, I think that's that.
No, it's great, man. Yeah, I think just a way to just like branch out and be different.
That's right. Yeah, so that's what we keep doing. And let me see if I have a fashion. I don't think I have one.
Fashion?
Probably. I don't know.
So you meet these models on Instagram? Like how do you get
so these guys actually invited me to cover this event for them.
Yeah.
But some of the models, yeah, I've worked with because they wanted me to work with them.
Cool.
Like this person, she's a very big TV artist
Uh-huh.
back in the country. So she was traveling to Canada,
Nice.
and you can see that like this post was shared across the multiple digital platforms
Nice.
across the social media. So one, two, three, I don't know how many. Um, and then I did one um, engagement shoot too
Okay.
because I really enjoy engagements. And let me see, what else do I have? Yeah, some concerts. Yeah, I love this shot. It's the light playing.
There you go. I like what
Very
he's
nice.
wearing too. The white shirt against the background. It's great. Really makes him pop with the white shirt there.
Yeah. This is one of the concerts that took place at Harvard Front Center. So they
Mm,
wanted me to cover that. Oh, another one of new experience. We were talking about experiences. So what
yeah.
this was my first experience on a big stage where they had very strict rules, and I was
No.
not familiar
Oh no. You
with
got in
big stage
trouble.
rules.
You got in trouble, didn't you?
Not really, but the good thing was, so I did some research, which is important for as a photographer you should do before you go attend a different sort of event which you're not familiar
Yeah.
with. You always have to do the research. So
Research. What's that?
yeah, so because I was going on a big stage, this was relatively big for me, new experience for me. So I just
Yeah.
looked around on YouTube videos and read a
Yeah.
few blogs about from photographers who do concert photography and try to understand what are the things that I should do and should not do. So I didn't meet any sort of experience which I wasn't aware of before,
Mm,
but I wasn't expecting it would happen, but it did.
okay.
So a few things to keep in mind when you're doing a like concert photography is to first understand the lighting situation.
Mm,
Usually in concerts they have very low lights. So
yeah.
how are you going to circumvent that situation? Also keeping in mind that some of the concerts, the stage supervisors or the policy around it is they would only allow you to be in front of the stage, behind the rail, or
Yeah.
yeah, behind the rail for only a certain amount of time. So
Yeah.
for my situation, they said only three songs,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. And you're like, what?
exactly. So I was hoping, I had a pass so I can walk around without
Yeah.
anybody bothering me, without any
Yeah.
audience bothering me. But no, after three songs, they were so strict. They said, "Sir, you have to.
Oh
We'd
no.
like you to come out." And then
Yeah.
I had to change my lens and whatnot. Everything.
Right.
And the third thing, when I
Okay.
mentioned low light photography, is on this stage. I could be on the stage, but I could not use a flash.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that I have to work with the lighting that was available on stage. Now you can see from this photo, the lighting was very green. So you could imagine
Yes.
picturing like photographing somebody with green light all over their face. They started to look like
Mm-hmm.
aliens from outer space, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are the things that you have to keep in mind. Then how do you circumvent in that situation? Well, do you wait for the light to turn into a different color, for example,
Mm-hmm.
or uh, are the lighting people who are usually across the stage, right across the stage,
Yeah.
are they willing to change a certain lighting situation for you? Now, me being a new photographer on a big stage, I wasn't very comfortable. And then I was trying to speak to them, trying to make them understand, the challenges that I'm going through, and they were like,
They don't understand.
well,
They don't know.
no,
They don't
well,
get it. They don't get it.
yeah, we won't change it.
Yeah.
Well, then I did what I could. So you have to make the best of out of the situation that you're currently in. So you could see all the different lights. I wish they had a spotlight on at least the
Yeah. There are
main
no
singer.
spotlights. There's no spotlights that you
They
can.
were no spotlights, unfortunately.
Wow. Wow.
And one more thing was the only light that was coming was from behind. There was no light on the bottom, the front of the stage, so the faces weren't light up. So you could see, and you could get that sense. Look at this person.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
person has his. I think it's going to be the left side, which is lit up, and
Yeah.
that's from the light which is coming from
Right.
top behind.
Right. Right.
So what would happen essentially is if you fall in a situation where you end up with silhouettes, and that's not a good place to be.
Yeah.
So you have to work your way around it. Do
Mm.
you have to really understand what the lighting is going on, what's going on, and wait for the right moment to for it to capture. And
Yeah.
don't worry, capture like tons of photos. Take 10,000 photos. Only a few will
Thousands.
come up, and that's not a bad game. You've still reached your goal. I'm telling you.
Well, especially if you're there for only like 20 minutes, right? If you're only there for 20 minutes, then you gotta take as many as you want.
Yeah, that's true. And then and then they also in the research that I was doing, they said carry a long range lens with a long focal length. So I had a 7200 millimeter with me. So that was the only lens I could use because I wasn't allowed to be very much close to the stage. So those are the real life challenges as photographers you face. But all of this is good learning experience. You learn how to do things differently. How this was the stage. Yeah, good thing I have some light. So see, there's no light in the front.
Oh
I don't know
yeah,
if you could see it.
yeah,
Yeah, so there's only light at the from the top and at the
yeah,
back, and it wasn't any light that photographers likes. It was all blue and red and whatnot. So it's okay if the people turn up in different colors. It's perfectly fine. You can always, and yes, try to shoot it in RAW so that you could more change the colors and make some more. You're freer to make more edits. So it's perfectly fine to take shots there in RAW.
Mm,
This is another shot. Okay, so this was another
I
stage that
like that.
I
That's
yeah.
cool.
So this was another stage, and they did a very better job. So this was in Mississauga Garden Square, I think it's called, right? If I'm not mistaken. Uh,
So that's Celebration Square.
Celebration Square. Yes,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you. Okay, so Garden Square is Brampton's. Okay, so they did a better job with the lighting. So they had a more neutral light coming from the front side, not too strong, and but they had but they had the backlighting too, so that helped, and they had smoke too, so that sort of gave me the gave this sense of smoky blue light and whatnot. So this was one of the shoot that I really enjoyed. And by the way, I did not have the exclusive right to do this shoot, so I was in the audience carrying my big camera in front of me, trying to save it from the audience push and pull. Yeah, but again, I was using a 72 200 millimeter f4 for this one, so I had a pretty close up shot. So yeah, I think it turned out very well to my satisfaction.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Yeah, this was I think this is
Jeez.
another shot. So I think which L? I don't remember. I had like tons of shots. I don't even remember where they are.
Jeez, man. You're crushing it. You're so busy. You're doing all kinds of things.
Oh well,
You're doing all kinds of
I just love to explore, find different angles. Okay, so this was how it turned out. These are the posts. I don't remember if they posted. Yeah, so the singers, they posted it on their Instagram, the pictures that I sent out to them. So this was the first stage in the harbor front. So because I had raw images, so I could
Yeah,
change a bit of the lighting. You can see the floor is still green, but their faces are better, more neutral skin color. And that's what you could do in raw. So my suggestion is, if you have the capability to shoot in raw, you do that. That's
yeah.
better.
Always shooting raw.
And I had some backstage access to the
Nice,
troops.
man. Lots of fun, eh?
Lots of fun.
Lots of fun. Yeah, it's good. I like that shot too. It's cool.
I think they just posted this one too. That's also from yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, as photographers, you know what? One other thing a lot
Yeah.
of photographers struggle with is not getting due credit. Oh my god, that's such a difficult thing on Instagram and social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
You will post thing and somebody will pick it up.
Doesn't that drive you absolutely insane?
Oh my god. Oh my god. It does.
It's
It
absolutely
does.
insane, bro. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's like stealing.
It is. It is stealing, but you
Like
know what?
stealing something from a store.
You can't help it. You can't just, well, how many people are you gonna catch, right?
Yeah, I know. Crazy
So
times, bro. Yeah, no.
crazy times indeed. So yeah, good opportunities. Just go out there, grab your stuff, grab your camera,
Yeah,
have a look at the scene, take a
yeah,
shot.
yeah.
Do a bit of self critique, learn, do it again, learn, do it again. So it's a continuous process.
Is that your best advice for
My
people that
best
are
advice,
starting
yeah,
out or in the middle of
yeah.
things, or
Yes,
the best
absolutely.
advice?
I mean, never ever think you've reached your perfection, because something else will come your way and you'll be like, "Oh my God, I haven't done anything." But no, you've done a lot.
Yeah,
Never put yourself down. Never put yourself down like that. And the reason I started with the word perfection is because when you think that you're perfect, it's when you've actually started to let yourself down. Never do that.
mm,
Always leave a room for improvement. Always have that attitude that I want to learn, and know the right people who are willing to give you good feedback, who are willing to help you.
yeah,
People who are actually willing to help you, even if they're not looking at your post. Just send them the post and ask them to give you a better advice. That's how you learn.
yeah,
No one is perfect. Even they are learning, but at least they've probably been through that situation. They've been through that. For example, if I talk about portrait photography, somebody who's done portrait photography, let them review your work. Ask them what the best advice is.
yeah,
Watch a lot of YouTube videos. Watch a lot
yeah.
of content, good content that helps you to improve
Like
your
this
skills.
podcast right now.
Yeah, or this podcast. Yeah, I mean, Eric Paul brings on so many people on board. They talk about their work. They talk about their struggles. It's important because
Yeah,
we nobody who has tons of followers, or who is doing a photography business, as like huge photography business, and they haven't done it in a day. Like
no.
if they've
You're seeing
gone
people
through
like
different.
10 years, 20 years down the line, bro.
Yeah.
People think it happens overnight.
Absolutely. No, nobody reaches the perfection, or nobody reaches to that level that overnight. It has to have
Yeah,
everybody has a story. And yes, one last thing that I would say, if you want to
sure, sure.
learn more,
Yeah.
teach. If
Mm,
you can advise somebody, if you can give them the right sort of feedback, well, don't
mm.
shy away from it. Some people are
Give back.
actually willing to
Give
learn.
back.
Give back. It's very important. If you want to
Mm,
learn, you have to teach. Simple as that.
that's pretty profound, bro. I like that.
Welcome.
You gotta give back.
We have to.
So
We
I
do that
always
every
mean to
now,
do.
every profession, man. Yeah, I think you
Yeah,
like I'm like, my full-time profession is an ID project manager. Like,
yeah,
we are actually have to give some hours back to the community. And first,
right.
if you think like, why are they asking me to do it? But once you start to do that, like
Yeah.
wholeheartedly, you start to realize, okay, no, this is actually helping me more than it's helping others.
Mm, yeah, I think the good stuff happens when you're doing something not for you, you're doing something for someone else. I think that's where the magic happens.
Yeah,
You're
that's
you're,
true.
you're taking the focus off yourself and you're focusing on someone else or something else. And I think through that process, I think you can learn a lot more about
That's true.
whatever it is that you're doing, because it's no longer about you. You want to do something for someone else. I don't know. It could be like a karma thing. It could be like an energy thing. I have no
Hmm.
idea. I have no idea. But
No,
it's kind
that's
of
true.
like when you're not. It's kind of like when you're not thinking about the problem. You kind of get like the solution.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
that kind of
that's true.
like mantra. So
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
That's
I'm
true.
just I'm just I'm just making stuff up now. That's okay. I'm making stuff up. That's fine. Though. I do that from time to time.
That's all right.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Exactly. It's great, man. I love the work. I love it. It's great. I just love the approach. I love the composition. I just love the growth.
Yeah, so this is one of the early night photos I did. So see how noisy it was, and I was like, oh
Yeah.
man,
Niagara Falls, man.
yeah, Niagara Falls, it
Yeah. I
is.
have that exact same shot too.
Yeah. And you can see, like, if I keep scrolling down, there are only a handful of night shots, because like I said, I was just too scared. I was like, what the
Mm.
hell, man? What am I gonna do? This doesn't work out for me. And
Mm.
it's essentially when you do photography, um, and people who are not in the right, well, who are not the best photographers, or are not willing to give you the best advice, they will tell you, no, noise is not good, this is not good, that is not good. Well, you know what? Don't listen to that. Everything that comes with raising an ISO, for example, you know, it's a thing. Don't worry about it. Um, it's also, you know what, there are so many tools available that can handle those things, right? Photoshop does it, Lightroom
light,
does
light,
it.
light, Lightroom does it now too. Pretty
Yeah,
good.
denoise.
You know,
Yeah, so
they do it pretty good. Yeah,
so
I always go by the rule of does it look cool?
yeah, it
That's
doesn't
my
look
rule.
cool.
That's
Yeah, I
my
mean
rule.
it. Yeah,
Do I like it? That's kind of my rule.
but see, the thing is, for example, if you're in a situation where there is dark, where there is low light, there is darkness
Mm.
around you, but that moment is something that you're looking at, you know, in your brain,
You
in your
know,
eyes, you
yeah,
know this
you
is a
know.
good moment to capture, but you're
Right.
not capturing because, hey, you know what, I suck at I suck at, you know, this,
Yeah,
or my camera is not good enough. So, well, you lost that moment.
it's gone.
Was it worth it?
No,
Was the noise worth it?
no.
Losing that moment?
Bring
No,
the
it wasn't,
noise.
man.
Bring the noise.
Bring the noise. Like
I
this photo
want.
I'm showing you on the screen.
Yeah,
This you could actually, even in the small,
yeah,
you could see how much noise there is to it,
yeah.
right? But if I tell you the backstory, you would be amazed.
Yeah.
This is not from a camera. This is not a professional camera. And when I was talking about, you know, devices, don't worry about it in the beginning. Well,
Yeah.
this is a phone's picture. They've put a picture from a phone, and this is the phone that I have. I think it's a very old phone.
Okay.
And the reason this was an important moment, this is coming out from a parking lot of a newly built mall, right? And it was a cold night. By the way, this is in Bucks. It was a cold night, and it was a foggy night, and you know, you could see the fog because it's not too clear, and people were coming out of the parking lot, and they were crossing this man who he's an old man
Mm,
who is standing right in the middle of the street in the cold night, and he's just, you know, he's just begging for some money.
yeah.
And I just cannot put myself in this situation on a cold night all
Yeah.
alone, you know,
It's tough, man.
cars going by.
Mm,
It's crazy. But this is what I mean, you know, if I would have thought of, okay, well, you know what, this picture is not worth posting because there's so much noise to it. Well, you know what, I lost a good photo, I lost a good memory. This is what I mean.
great photo. Great photo.
You don't have to worry about it. Just, if you, yes, you know, some street photographers even say, you know, carry a small camera with yourself in your pocket all the time. I don't do that because my camera is way as big, man. So
Yeah.
but because they don't worry about, you know, what sort of camera they have, all they want you to do is carry a camera. If you're a photographer,
Yeah.
you find that moment, just click the picture. That's
Always
it.
be ready. Always be
Always
ready.
be
Yeah.
ready. Because in that moment you can't decide, okay, what my ISO is going to be, what my, you
Yeah.
know, focal length is going to
You
be.
got to
You
take
can't
the
decide
shot,
all of it.
man.
You just got to take it.
No,
So yeah,
no,
this is
you
what
got to
I
take
mean.
it. You got to take the shot. You can't risk losing the moment, especially like a cool moment like that, where again, there's so much backstory to that photo that really it's quite good, right? So
Yeah, I think it was
that's
minus
a great,
five. Yeah.
it's a great message. Great message for people out there that don't be scared of the noise.
Never, ever,
Don't be
ever.
scared of the noise, guys. Lots of ways to fix that, or leave it if that's kind of your style too, right? Because you know, again, film is back. Film has noise, so
Film is noise too. Yeah, you're
yeah.
right.
So
So yeah, so that's what I mean. And then, like for example, this one, this was a this the overall place was pretty dark
that's a
actually.
cool shot.
Uh, but so this is what the bed that they typically use in the rural. I don't know if you know this. So this is a bed. This is made out of straw, dry straw, and
Mm,
it's actually woven through. And it's just not going
mm,
to be woven through like normal circular motion. You can actually, if I just zoom in a little bit, if I can, I don't know. No, can I? Or no? No, it will not. The picture side doesn't change. So anyways, so you can actually see the design, you know, the zigzag design and things like that.
yeah.
Again, you're traveling, you don't have the time to set things up.
No.
You carry your camera, just take the shot. Take the damn shot. That's it.
That's all you got to do. Sometimes,
That's all you're gonna do.
sometimes it's pretty simple when you kind of break it down.
It does. So
It's,
that is what I'm saying, right? If you have to keep making the mistakes, right? If I didn't have that picture, I won't be able to, if I look back at this, I can actually now from this was posted when, let me see. This is 2020. Now we've gone down 4 years, almost 4 years,
yeah,
3 years.
yeah.
Now I can think of ways how I could have done better in the same situation.
Oh,
What differently I could have done
yeah,
that could have made this picture or this photo.
yeah,
Probably would have removed this was my cap, by the way, because I
yeah.
was lying down.
Photoshop that out. Yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
maybe the stuff by the door. There's what is that, like a log or some sort of debris by the door.
Maybe make somebody stand here or sit here
Yeah,
just
you
to give
can. I
that
mean, there's so
human.
many. I mean, again, it depends how far you want to go with it. But again, I think that's always it's always like the struggle with us is that we always get better. So you want to always go back to places that you've been 10 years
Yeah,
ago because your gear's better, your skills are better, your editing's better. So, but that's
exactly.
never going to end. Like, it's always going to, like, the more that you go, it's just going to be like a list of places that you want to go back to because
It's
it's
absolutely,
just,
absolutely. This is what it is, man. At the end of the day, you keep learning. What else? I think one of another moment of for my own learning was, in an event, for example. So events are funny, right? So events, especially when you're doing group photos, it's very difficult to get people's attention. So I'm not a person who screams. I don't even know how to scream, man.
no,
Somebody
right?
told me, well, if you want to get attention and you're the photographer, well, you have to make sure people listen to you. I said, man, how the hell am I going to do that? Because the moment they start to make groups, especially the large groups, like for example, if it's an award ceremony, then they want everybody to come together to take a photo, and then you have, let's say, 30 people on the stage or 50 people on the stage, and everybody's looking here and there, and
Yeah.
talking to each other, and you're trying to rearrange people. Okay, you sir, you move here, you ma'am, you move here, so that you're going to have that, you're trying to have that symmetry in the image, and you're trying to compose that image, and then you have, well, one of the people that annoy me, I'm so sorry about this, but people with phone cameras, man. You
Oh,
let the
no.
photographers be in the center, let him do his work, let him do his job, and then you can do all that you want, once he leaves the spot. But anyways,
Get rid of the phone cameras, guys.
oh god. So you have to, when you're a photographer in an event, you are the owner of that event. I'm telling you this.
The owner.
You the owner of that event. Why? Because the event is gonna end up. But what's gonna live on are those images, right? So if you haven't got the best shots, well, you're screwed.
I
so
know, right? That's the thing, right?
so one of the very seasoned photographer, he told me people will probably not even listen to me being the host or to somebody else, but they will definitely listen to you. And I said, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Let me actually try this. So I walk up to random people. I said, "Sir, or ma'am, or everybody, can you guys just group together so that I can take a photo of yours?"
Mhm.
And they will immediately leave everything that they're doing, immediately
Yeah.
forget what they're talking about. If they have food, they'll keep it down, and then they'll. I'm like, man, I am privileged with this one. You know what? So you feel that
Yeah, man.
power. So
You do feel the power, though, don't you?
it is very powerful. So be out there, talk and shout if you have to. If there's a large group and you have to make that scream, everybody look at this camera, well,
You gotta
make
do
your
it.
voice heard.
You gotta do it, though, man. You gotta do it.
Because you know what? If there are people around you who are taking photos with their cameras, and because they know people who are on the stage, generally the subject will look in the towards the phone, towards
Yeah.
their friend,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And then when you end up is you have a photo where people are looking here and there, and only a few people looking at your camera.
Yeah.
You don't want that. A good
You know.
group shot is where everybody is looking in your camera. And if it's a large group, well, it's okay if everybody is not looking in your camera. Only a
Yeah.
handful are looking here and there, because that's pretty natural. That's human. But you want maximum number of people looking in your camera. So when everything is set, when you've done your composition, you have to raise your hand, make yourself big, make yourself
Yeah.
known, put
Yeah.
yourself out there and say, everybody, look at this camera and stop
Yeah.
whatever it
You
is you're
gotta, you
doing.
gotta, you gotta lay the hammer down.
Exactly. And people will listen.
Of
People
course.
they will shut up.
You
They
gotta
will
take
listen to
control.
you.
You
You have
got
to
yeah,
take
you can't be
control.
shy. You can't be shy about that stuff or else it's just gonna spiral into chaos.
Yes, that's true.
Right?
And people won't remember the tyranny that they have put you through, by not looking at the camera. But when you're gonna
Yeah.
send the photos and people are looking here and there, your client is gonna tell me, hey, they're gonna tell you, oh, everybody is not looking in the camera. What the hell, man? What did you
Yeah.
do? So
Yeah.
well,
No,
you
I
don't
mean
want to go
again.
in that situation.
Yeah, you gotta leave. Yeah, that's good. It's a good tip, man.
No.
Excellent. Well, we're up against the hour, so did you want to speak to anything else or anything that you want to add? Tips, tricks, advice?
No, I think I've already bored a lot of people with the good advices. But
Oh, that's good.
the end advice is, if you're a photographer and you're serious about this and you love what you're doing,
Yeah.
just be out there, learn, be ready to learn, be ready to teach other people, give them good advice, and enjoy the feeling
Mm,
of being a photographer. Yeah.
that's a good point to enjoy it. I think
Yeah.
sometimes we forget that. Just to have, fun. I know it sounds silly, and
No,
simple, but
it is what
to
it
have
is.
fun too.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
it
man,
from
great
me.
chat. I love to have you back on, but hopefully sooner than sooner than 18 months, but
We'll speak again for sure.
I'll get you back on and see what else you're up to.
Yeah, we'll definitely reconnect for sure. Thank you so much for this
Absolutely.
opportunity, Paul.
Thanks everyone for watching, listening, wherever this is, and make sure you follow. Make sure you go check out Ibad. All his stuff's in the description. Go give him a like, follow, all that stuff, and follow us on Open Shutter YouTube for future shows. So yeah, man, thanks again, and thanks everyone for watching, listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.